Have you ever caught yourself glancing in the mirror and wondering, how much have I changed? Aging is a universal journey that often unfolds quietly, bringing subtle transformations that can surprise us. In this video, we'll delve into the true essence of aging gracefully, not as a decline, but as a rich progression into a new and fulfilling phase of life. Stay tuned until the end to discover empowering strategies for embracing these changes with dignity and strength. You'll learn how to overcome societal stereotypes that undervalue your experience, cultivate deeper self-assurance, and maintain meaningful connections across generations. We'll share inspiring stories that illustrate the beauty of maturity and provide practical tips to help you navigate the challenges that come with growing older. Whether you're reflecting on your journey or supporting a loved one, this discussion will offer valuable insights and motivation to cherish every moment of your aging process. Don't miss out on transforming the way you view and experience aging. Join us as we celebrate the wisdom and grace that come with each passing year. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. Aging can often feel like stepping onto a train that started slow, but now seems to be racing ahead at an unstoppable pace. In our youth, time appeared almost motionless, allowing us to relish each passing day. Do you remember how summers felt when we were kids? The days seemed endless, stretching out in front of us like a wide, open field with no end in sight. Back then, everything moved slower. Birthdays came around slowly, and waiting for holidays felt like an eternity. There was no rush to reach the future because the present felt infinite. Life was full of possibilities that seemed far off, out of reach, and it felt like we had all the time in the world. We'd dream of what it would be like to retire, imagining ourselves older, wiser, perhaps relaxing in a peaceful setting, surrounded by loved ones. We'd think about the idea of becoming grandparents, watching our families grow and thrive. But these were distant dreams, events that seemed so far in the future that we didn't give them much thought. And even the small things, like the subtle shifts in our appearance or the inevitable changes in our health, were too far ahead to worry about. Youth gave us the illusion that time was an abundant resource, one we could waste without consequence. We were, after all, young and invincible, with decades of life stretching out before us. But as the years pass, something changes. That train, once leisurely and slow, starts picking up speed. Without warning, those distant milestones we once barely considered, retirement, aging, our children growing up, are no longer distant at all. They are here, right in front of us, and it's hard not to feel a sense of shock at how quickly time has passed. We look in the mirror and see that our reflection has changed. Our once youthful faces now show the lines of time. Our hair has turned silver, and our bodies remind us that we are no longer the same people we once were. It can feel disorienting, even startling, to realize how quickly life has moved forward, like waking up one day and finding that the landscape of our life has changed overnight. There's often a moment, somewhere in our 40s or 50s, when this realization hits with full force. We become aware of just how fast life is moving, how the years seem to blur together as we try to catch up with the passing time. The future we once thought was far away is now the present. And by the time we reach our 60s and 70s, the train is speeding ahead with such momentum that we realize fully and deeply that time waits for no one. The world continues to turn, the seasons change, and the years pass, no matter how much we might wish to pause and catch our breath. We cannot slow down the train of time, nor can we step off the ride. The milestones keep approaching. Our children grow older, our bodies change. We say goodbye to friends and loved ones, and we find ourselves wondering where all the time has gone. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me. But here's the beautiful truth that often gets lost in the rush. While we can't slow down time, we can choose how we navigate this journey. We have a choice in how we experience these later stages of life. Will we cling to the past, longing for the days of our youth, wishing we could go back to a time when life felt simpler and easier? Will we spend our days lamenting what we've lost, caught in a web of nostalgia and regret? Or will we choose to embrace the present, with all its complexities and changes, and savor every precious moment we have left? Will we see aging as something to fear, or will we recognize it as a natural part of life's journey, one that brings its unique beauty and wisdom? This brings us to the idea of maturity. Aging is inevitable. Our bodies will change, no matter how much we may wish otherwise. Our hair will gray, our skin will wrinkle, and we may find that we no longer have the same energy we once did. But maturity, real maturity, is something deeper. It's not just about the physical process of getting older. It's about how we choose to handle the passage of time. True maturity is about accepting the changes with grace rather than fighting against them. It's about understanding that while our physical bodies may age, our hearts and minds remain capable of immense growth. We have the power to keep evolving and to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. And this is where the real beauty of aging lies. Aging gracefully is a conscious decision. It means acknowledging that while we may not have control over the physical aspects of aging, we do have control over how we respond to it. We can choose to hold on to our curiosity, our kindness, and our willingness to learn. We can choose to remain open to new experiences, to nurture our relationships, and to continue growing emotionally and spiritually. It's about recognizing that life doesn't stop just because we've reached a certain age. Some of the most profound growth can happen in these later stages of life, when we have the wisdom and experience to see things more clearly. I'm reminded of a man I once knew, a retired teacher in his 80s. He was not the kind of person who needed to prove anything to anyone. He had long since let go of the need for validation or recognition. Yet, whenever he spoke, people listened. There was something magnetic about him, a quiet strength that drew others toward him. He didn't try to act younger than he was, nor did he complain about the aches and pains that came with age. Instead, he embraced his years with a kind of serene dignity. He carried himself with a calm confidence that came not from a desire to impress others, but from a deep sense of self-acceptance. What made him truly remarkable wasn't his knowledge or his accomplishments, though they were many. It was his humility. He didn't feel the need to remind people of his age or his achievements. He didn't boast or seek praise. Instead, he lived his life with quiet grace, content to simply be. His wisdom came not from a place of superiority, but from a place of deep understanding. He had lived long enough to know what truly mattered in life. And it wasn't fame, wealth, or even physical strength. It was love, compassion, and the connections we make with others. His presence alone was a reminder that aging is not something to fear, but something to embrace. We can all learn something from people like him. Aging gracefully isn't about trying to hold on to youth or pretending that we're not getting older. It's about accepting the natural flow of life and finding peace in that acceptance. It's about recognizing that our value doesn't diminish as we age. In fact, it often grows. With every passing year, we gain more experiences, more understanding, and more insight into what matters. We learn to let go of the superficial concerns that once consumed us and focus instead on the things that bring true joy and fulfillment. And so, as we ride the speeding train of life, let's remember that we have the power to choose how we experience the journey. We may not be able to slow down time, but we can savor every moment. We can embrace the changes that come with age, not with fear or resistance, but with gratitude and grace. Let us continue to nurture the parts of ourselves that matter most: our kindness, our curiosity, and our willingness to grow. For in the end, it's not the years we've lived that define us, but how we've lived them. And there is always more to learn, more to love, and more to discover on this beautiful, fleeting journey. Aging in a society that often glorifies youth can feel like an uphill battle, especially when we're surrounded by messages that suggest our worth diminishes as the years pass. In a world where the value of a person is frequently measured by their physical vitality, appearance, or adaptability to new trends, it can be disheartening to feel overlooked simply because we've lived longer. There are so many harmful stereotypes about older people that, frankly, don't reflect the reality of aging. How often have we heard the age-old refrain that older individuals are out of touch or stuck in their ways? How many times have we felt the sting of being seen as incapable of understanding or contributing to new ideas and developments? These notions are not just unfair. They are deeply flawed and damaging. The truth is, we've lived through more change than many young people could even begin to comprehend. Think about it. Throughout our lives, we've witnessed seismic shifts in technology, culture, and society. From the introduction of televisions into every household to the rise of the internet, smartphones, and artificial intelligence, we've had to constantly adapt to a world that never stops evolving. We've embraced new ideas, navigated shifting social norms, and learned to live in a world that moves at a breakneck pace. The idea that older people can't understand or engage with what's happening now is not only insulting but laughable. We've survived, thrived, and grown in a world that is perpetually in flux. We've adapted over and over again, proving our resilience time and time again. But despite all of this, there's an undeniable challenge we face. It's not enough to push back against these stereotypes that society imposes on us. We also have to be careful that we don't start believing them ourselves. Ageism is so pervasive that it can seep into our thinking, sometimes without us even realizing it. We might begin to doubt our abilities or buy into the idea that we are somehow past our prime. Worse yet, we may start behaving in ways that unintentionally reinforce these misconceptions. It's important to reflect on how we present ourselves to the world and ensure that we don't allow these harmful stereotypes to shape our behavior. One of the tendencies we need to be mindful of is dominating conversations. It's something that can happen easily, especially when we have so much wisdom and life experience to share. After all, we've spent decades accumulating knowledge, and there's a natural desire to pass that on to others. But we must remember that a meaningful conversation is a two-way street. While sharing our stories and insights is valuable, truly listening, can be just as powerful, if not more so. When we take the time to genuinely listen to others, especially younger generations, we demonstrate respect for their perspectives and create space for mutual understanding. This kind of respect fosters deeper, more meaningful connections and allows us to continue learning from each other. Listening also shows that we haven't fallen into the trap of assuming we know it all. The world is constantly evolving, and no matter how much life experience we have, there's always something new to learn. Younger generations have different perspectives, shaped by a world that's very different from the one we grew up in. By engaging with them openly, we not only gain fresh insights, but also show that age hasn't diminished our ability to be curious and open-minded. Another behavior we should guard against is the urge to boast excessively. Of course, it's natural to take pride in our accomplishments. After all, we've worked hard, achieved a great deal, and overcome countless challenges along the way. There's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling proud of that. But there's a fine line between sharing stories of our successes and constantly reminding people of our achievements. Humility is one of the most attractive and dignified qualities we can embody as we age. When we let go of the need to prove ourselves or to assert our importance, we create space for deeper, more authentic connections with others. People are drawn to those who can share their wisdom without the need for constant validation. Humility allows our wisdom to speak for itself, without the need for embellishment or praise. Additionally, we must resist the temptation to make quick judgments. As we get older, it can be easy to fall into the trap of believing we've seen it all. After decades of life experience, we might feel like we know how things will play out or that we can predict people's behavior based on past experiences. But life has a way of surprising us, even in our later years. The world is always changing, and so are the people in it. By keeping an open mind and staying curious, we allow ourselves to continue growing, learning, and evolving. This mindset not only helps us stay connected to the younger generation, but also ensures that we remain engaged with the world around us. Moreover, when we refrain from making snap judgments, We keep our relationships open and dynamic. Every person we meet, regardless of their age or background, has something unique to offer. By giving others the benefit of the doubt and approaching them with curiosity rather than assumption, we nurture more meaningful and enriching relationships. We also foster a sense of humility within ourselves, a recognition that no matter how much we've experienced or learned, there's always more to discover. As we navigate the complexities of aging in a society that often undervalues the wisdom of older generations, we must remember that our greatest strength lies not in trying to keep up with the pace of youth, but in embracing the richness of our own experiences. We've lived through history in the making, adapted to rapid technological advancements, and weathered the storms of personal and collective change. Our value does not diminish with age, it deepens. But to truly embrace that value, we must remain vigilant against the stereotypes that seek to define us. We must choose to lead with empathy, curiosity, and humility, knowing that our journey is far from over. Ultimately, aging gracefully means recognizing that every stage of life has its unique challenges and rewards. It means embracing the wisdom we've earned while staying open to the lessons that still lie ahead. It means rejecting the notion that we are defined by the number of years we've lived and instead embracing the fullness of who we are, our experiences, our growth, and our ever-expanding capacity for love and understanding. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also leave a lasting impact on the people around us, proving that age is not a barrier to living fully and meaningfully. Instead, it is a testament to the richness of the journey we've traveled and the many adventures that still await us. Neglecting our appearance is another pitfall we must be careful not to fall into as we age. It's understandable why we might let this slide. After all, the years teach us that comfort becomes a priority, and it's easy to feel like how we look to others doesn't carry the same importance it once did. We might even convince ourselves that caring about our appearance is superficial, or that it's something only young people need to worry about. But here's the truth. The way we present ourselves to the world is deeply connected to how we feel about ourselves. It's not about chasing the illusion of youth or trying to turn back the clock. It's about taking pride in who we are at every stage of life. The clothes we wear, how we care for our skin, and the way we groom ourselves are all reflections of our self-respect. A little bit of self-care can do wonders for our confidence, making us feel more engaged with the world and more connected to our sense of identity. When we maintain that sense of dignity and care, we remind ourselves and others that we are still vital, capable, and deserving of feeling good in our skin. It's also worth considering that taking care of our appearance helps us maintain a sense of control over our lives. As we age, there are so many things we can't change. Our health may fluctuate, our roles in life may shift, and we may face losses that are beyond our control. But how we choose to present ourselves is something we can control. It's a small act of self-respect that radiates outward, impacting how we move through the world. It's not about vanity. It's about valuing ourselves enough to feel good about who we are, no matter our age. Another important topic is the issue of respect, particularly the misconception that respect should automatically be given based solely on age. Of course, everyone deserves to be treated with respect, regardless of their stage of life. But we need to remember that respect is not something we can demand or expect simply because we've lived a certain number of years. Respect is something we earn through our actions, our character, and the way we treat others. Yes, age often brings wisdom, but wisdom alone doesn't automatically command respect. It's how we apply that wisdom that makes the difference. When we use our life experiences to lift others, when we act with kindness and integrity, and when we show empathy and understanding, we naturally garner respect from those around us. Demanding respect without demonstrating these qualities, however, can have the opposite effect. People of all ages, especially younger generations, value authenticity and humility. They respect those who listen, who are open to learning, and who don't assume they have all the answers just because of their years. Respect isn't just about what we've accomplished in the past. It's about how we live and contribute in the present. It's something that continues to be earned every day, through the way we interact with others and the values we embody. So, how do we put these ideas into practice in our everyday lives? It's one thing to talk about avoiding certain behaviors, but how do we integrate these principles into our daily routine? The key, I believe, lies in self-awareness. We have to make a conscious effort to reflect on our actions, our habits, and our mindset. It's not always easy to do, but self-awareness is one of the most powerful tools we have to age with grace and dignity. For instance, if you find yourself dominating a conversation, maybe out of a desire to share your experience or wisdom, take a moment to pause. Instead of immediately offering advice, try asking more questions. Engage in active listening and give others the space to share their thoughts and feelings. It's amazing how much more meaningful a conversation becomes when both sides feel heard and valued. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Similarly, if you catch yourself feeling the urge to boast about your achievements or remind others of your past accomplishments, take a step back and ask yourself why. Is it coming from a place of wanting to prove something? If so, there may be a more authentic and meaningful way to connect with the person you're speaking to. Sometimes, sharing a story or offering wisdom in a humble and grounded way resonates far more than boasting ever could. People are often drawn to those who exude quiet confidence, those who don't feel the need to prove themselves, but instead allow their actions and character to speak for them. Another practical way to embody these principles is by staying curious. Curiosity keeps us engaged with life, no matter our age. Never stop learning. Whether that means picking up a new book, trying your hand at a new hobby, or engaging in conversations with people of different ages and backgrounds. When we stay curious, we remind ourselves that life is full of possibilities. Even in our later years, there is always more to learn, more to explore, and more to discover. Curiosity helps us maintain a youthful spirit, no matter the number of candles on our birthday cake. Let's also talk about the importance of movement. Our bodies may not be as agile or quick as they once were, but that doesn't mean we should give up on staying active. Physical movement becomes even more critical as we age. Whether it's walking in the park, practicing yoga, dancing, or simply stretching, movement helps keep us connected to our physical selves. It's not just about maintaining physical health, though that's important. It's about maintaining our mental and emotional well-being too. Staying active is a way of reminding ourselves that we're still capable, still engaged with life, and still able to grow and change. When we move, we tap into the joy of living, the feeling that we are still part of this vibrant world, with so much left to experience and enjoy. Moreover, staying active doesn't mean pushing ourselves to meet unrealistic goals or comparing ourselves to others. It's about finding what feels good for us at this stage of life, embracing what our bodies can do, and celebrating those small victories. Whether it's taking a leisurely walk around the neighborhood or finding a gentle exercise routine that brings us joy, movement is a way of honoring our bodies and keeping our spirits lifted. And when we stay active, we also strengthen our ability to remain independent and engaged, which enhances our quality of life in ways both big and small. As we come to the end of this reflection on aging gracefully, I want to ask you, what have you learned so far? What resonated with you the most? Aging is a journey we all take, and the wisdom we gather along the way is meant to be shared. I encourage you to take a moment and think about one thing from today's video that you will bring into practice in your own life. Is it the importance of self-care, staying curious, or the power of humility and respect? Whatever it may be, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share in the comments below one thing you've learned and how you plan to apply it in your life. Let's continue this conversation and inspire each other to live with grace, wisdom, and purpose. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on more content like this. Thank you for watching,